Mercedes Moné has spoken the truth about her WWE tenure in one of the most truthful and honest interviews that I've ever heard Mercedes Moné do. She spoke the truth about her WWE tenure. There has been great things and there have been bad things said about Mercedes Moné, and especially in her WWE tenure. While many would think that she looks at WWE as a negative coin in her life, I would argue that it is completely different. And I think Mercedes Moné, she gave a little bit of truth and light into what really is the way that she views WWE. Sure, she made a name for herself, made a star impactful tenure there. She held championships, she main evented shows, she had legendary feuds, and she made a fortune. At the same time, though, her exit from WWE was very controversial. At the time, she was the women's tag team champions alongside Naomi. She had a creative dispute with Vince McMahon that led to her and Naomi not only walking into John Laurinaitis' office and handing him the women's tag team championships, but they also walked out on a Monday Night Raw event. That led to them being stripped of the championships, suspended, and ultimately both stars got their releases granted from the company. 2023 marked the new beginning for Mercedes Moné as she jumped to New Japan Pro Wrestling, making a name for herself in that market and really starting the brand of Mercedes Moné after years of being known as simply Sasha Banks. We went from the boss to the CEO and a complete revamp of what we thought we knew of Sasha Banks. She had the opportunity to go back to WWE, something in which she's talked about in numerous interviews, saying that she went back and forth not only with AEW and New Japan heading into 2024, but also WWE. She had multiple talks with WWE before Tony Khan gave her a blank check and reportedly made her the highest paid female talent in all of pro wrestling. Now, Mercedes Moné did a recent interview with CBS Sports, and that's where this video picks up. Because Mercedes Moné talked about fulfilling the boss's dream. She said she wanted it all, but she never got to hold it. Mercedes Moné, the CEO, is everything the legit boss wanted to be. She controls her life, narrative, and intellectual property. Now, these comments of control echo the real life circumstances surrounding her departure from WWE in 2022 when she and Naomi walked out. Since debuting for AEW earlier this year, she has been presently featured on television, heavily featured on television, and it's something in which I think fans need to pay attention to more. She is coming off of a huge match with Toni Storm, the women's world champion in AEW. They had one of the biggest matches on the All In Texas card, and ultimately it was Mercedes Moné falling short to timeless Toni Storm. I think if you look at what Mercedes Moné has been able to do since leaving WWE, I think it's actually remarkable. And I think more people should give her praise for what she's been able to do. It's very difficult to build a brand in general. It's very difficult to build two brands in two different companies, right? Especially in pro wrestling. When she left WWE, what had she not done? Right? Like, I'm sure there's a few accomplishments that she has not been able to get done yet, but she pretty much did it all. She headlined a WrestleMania, she headlined PLEs, she had legendary feuds, she won all the championships. There really wasn't left for her to do anything, right? And I think if you look at her business mindset, I think her leaving WWE and going on her own has actually paid off for the better, right? Because she has so many different interests and so many different avenues in which she wants to build her brand, right? From a wrestler to an actor to a model to all of her businesses. There's so many different revenue streams that she has coming in. Her newsletters, her freaking texting app or text messaging service, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different things that she's been able to do, so many different things that she's been able to accomplish. And I don't know if she would have been able to do that in WWE. Like, I cannot see her having a texting service. I don't think they would allow that. Maybe the newsletter, sure. Keep in mind, when she walked out of WWE in 2022, Vinnie Mac was still in charge. Now, ultimately, he got, you know, kicked out a year later. All the hush money scandals, Janelle Grant lawsuit, all that good stuff. And bad stuff. It's a figure of speech. My apologies. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, do you not remember the Twitch incident where like Adam Cole left WWE because they wouldn't let him stream on Twitch and they also wanted to make him a manager and I think cut his hair? Just various, just stupid, ridiculous things where like, oh my God, we have to monetize this. And it's like, dude, there's so many different ways that you can monetize this. And as seen with TKO, they've literally done it and not have to piss off wrestlers. I don't know if Mercedes Moné would have been able to do all the things that she wanted to do, but I will say this. I have thought about this a lot where it's, will Mercedes Moné ever return to WWE? I think it's two-folded questions, right? I think you have to break it down in kind of two different questions. Will Mercedes Moné return to WWE one day? Will she make one appearance? Yes, I do believe that. I think she's a Hall of Fame worthy talent. I think she will go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Her body of work, her legacy, her accomplishments, her run there, I think speaks for itself, right? I think it is a legendary career. I think it's a worthy Hall of Fame career, and I think she'll go into the Hall of Fame. I don't see why she would have an issue with going into the Hall of Fame. So I think that's pretty much a certain. Now, when we talk about a return to WWE, are we talking about a match? Are we talking about appearance on television? Are we talking about a feud? Are we talking about a run? Are we talking about multiple years? Like there's different layers to this question. The appearance I'll put into the first one that I previously talked about. Yes, I think she will make an appearance. Now, will she wrestle again in WWE? That I don't know. I don't know. Look, when AEW signed her, you know that they signed her to a multi-year deal. They announced that, right? Typically, in these days, when a wrestler signs a contract, it's usually for 5 years, unless, the promotion wants a shorter deal or the wrestler request for it to be a shorter end deal. So if that's the case, she's under a 5-year deal. She's not going to be wrestling in WWE for many, many years, right? She signed in 2024. So you're looking at 2029 by the time she hits free agency. Okay. And I would tend to believe that she signed a 5-year deal, especially if Tony Khan gave her the type of money that she was asking. And I'm sure there's escalators in the deal. So she's going to be making a ton of money. And she has outside, flexibility that she may not have in WWE. I understand WWE, they let their talents go and wrestle for other promotions, but it's very, very heavily controlled, right? Like you have to go, not only do they have to approve it, but you also have to work with promotions that they have working relationships with, right? Whether it's Pro Wrestling Noah or Bloodsport or GCW or whatnot, right? She is the belt collector now. She's holding multiple belts in different promotions. So I don't know if that would work out exactly how people would think, but it would be interesting. But no, I don't think Mercedes Moné will wrestle again in WWE.